It's Friday morning. Hopefully, you're off to a good start. Temperatures are cool into the 40s, but nothing really to write home about. Is everything pretty quiet? We have some clouds out there, and we'll have some clouds through the day. A little break or two of sunshine, so not a bad day at all. Becoming a little breezy late, but highs should be well into the 60s. So it'll be a mild day ahead of this big storm system. So if you have anything to do outside today or errands to run, doctor's appointments, grocery stores, things like that, picking the kids up, even if you have ball games this evening, no real problems. Can't rule out a little brief shower late, but I think all in all, we're going to be in pretty good shape through the day today. Tonight, that's when things all change. And just like we were talking about the last 2 or 3 days, this is going to be a significant storm system, and confidence has grown. And a lot of our computer models are seeing the same thing. And so, whenever computer models come together, that gives weather forecasters and meteorologists even more confidence of what probably will happen. So, we'll continue to watch it, but everything is now starting to come together for a significant winter storm to move through the southeast and eventually up into the north and east. So, here's what the most likely scenario will be for us here in our area. So tonight, temperatures will stay well above freezing probably until 11 o'clock, and then everything will start to change as we head from west to east, as it normally does in these type of situations. But we'll start out with showers and have a period of rain, and then that rain will mix and change to snow, let's say between midnight, 1, 2 o'clock. And it could be a little bit earlier, especially into the counties into the west and some of the mountains. So it's going to be obviously elevation areas to the west, and then everything slides on over to the east as that colder air dives in from the north and west. So what will happen, we'll see showers mixing first with some snow or sleet, and then we'll have a changeover. And what will happen is there's going to be enough deep moisture to where there's going to be a 2 or 3 hour period overnight tonight where the snow could band and could be moderate to heavy in several spots. And that's the reason why we are confident that this is going to be an accumulating snow, that the cold air is going to get in before the heart of the moisture gets lifted onto the north and east. So that will be into the overnight hours, and then by tomorrow morning everything lifts on to the north and east. So snow showers will diminish pretty early, and so by the time a lot of us wake up, a lot of it that will be over and heading on to the north and east. But overnight tonight, it'll be a quick transition, and for a 2 or 3 hour period, we could have some bands of heavier snow, and that's the reason why you can get an accumulating snow in March after having such warm weather. Two factors: it's got to snow heavy, and it's got to do it at night. And we're going to have those two factors probably come into place as we head through the overnight tonight. That's why my thinking is that the valley areas, most valley areas will see 1 to 3. Some of the mountains will see 3 to 6, especially as you go up toward the Cumberland Plateau and areas toward Crossville and Fall Creek Falls. It wouldn't surprise me if up there, if it bands and lasts long enough, that we get some reports of 7, 8 inches of snow. That's up near Fall Creek Falls, near Crossville, some of those areas that sometimes can get hit pretty hard. But generally, let's say drawing a line from Fort Payne on over through about Somerville and Dalton northward, 1 to 3. Now in Chattanooga, obviously it's a little bit harder to accumulate. It takes a little bit longer because they've had that heat, and obviously we've been warm for the last several days on the grassy surfaces. But I still think there's going to be enough to perhaps accumulate in Chattanooga, but probably not as much as what we may see around the areas and around the suburbs and around some of the other valley spots. So 1 to 3, and then 3 to 6 in some of the higher elevations, and then well north of Chattanooga could see a little bit more. That could be the big winner out of all this, but I think most of us will see an accumulating snow off of this, as after that the second half of this storm will kind of rear its ugly head, and that's a return to winter. And all day tomorrow, it's going to be miserable, as even though we're going to see a little sunshine for the afternoon, it's going to stay, if not breezy, windy at times. Temperatures may not rise much at all, so we could hold close to 30 degrees, a couple of degrees here, a couple of degrees there. Some of the mountains you'll stay into the lower to middle 20s all day, as wind chills will be down into the single digits, into the teens. So travel obviously will be difficult, and doing your outside chores will be difficult as well. So today's a good day to kind of wrap everything up. And finally, tomorrow night will be one of the coldest nights all winter, as lows, if we do have still some snow cover on the ground, will fall easily into the mid and upper teens, and some of the mountains could be between about 10 and 14. So it will be bitterly cold for a lot of us, especially considering we're moving into the middle of March, and oddly enough, it's the 29th anniversary of the blizzard of '93 coming up Sunday into Monday or later this weekend. So not too far off of that. I don't think we're going to have a blizzard here, but I tell you what, it's going to feel cold enough. If it would have snowed on Saturday, it would have been close to those type of conditions. But all this will happen Friday night. From there, Sunday, sunshine returns. It starts to finally thaw out, highs into the lower 50s or 50-ish in some areas. And then by Monday, after another cold and frosty start, closer to 30, we'll be back between about 60 and 63. So we recover next week, but still this weekend will be very eventful, starting later tonight, and then the cold sets in through Sunday morning. And remember, we do have a chime change as well. We'll spring forward, so it seems like Sunday morning will stay colder longer, since that hour of sunshine will be later into the evening, if you kind of get my drift there. So Sunday morning, very cold and accumulating snows. Those are the big weather headlines, and right now confidence is very high that probably we'll see both. So take care, be safe, have a great rest of your Friday, and we'll talk to you later.